and good afternoon. You're watching Updates at Noon with me. I'm Jessica Lee. Our headlines this afternoon. Bantuan Wang Ihsan assistance to be channeled immediately. Bersama Malaysia's public listed companies or PLC's transformation program is expected to catalyse the performance and growth of PLCs and companies within their ecosystem. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tunku Abdul Aziz said the program is also expected to align them with the latest global trends, investor demands and stakeholder expectations.
Ultimately, the program will enhance the corporate performance of Malaysia's PLCs, thereby creating a more attractive marketplace for domestic and foreign investors alike. While the program is targeted for public listed companies, lessons from the digital guidebooks can be applied to the wider SME community.
Anchored on 5 digital guidebooks, the PLC transformation program would nurture purpose and performance-driven PLCs, cultivate a greater sense of transparency, embed sustainability practices, as well as enhance stakeholder management and investor relations. It will also encourage digital adoption as well as drive robust talent development to strengthen nation building. He added that the program is also supported by the government's ongoing efforts to reform and optimize government-linked investment companies or the GLICs. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob yesterday said the distribution of Bantuan Wang Ihsan or BWI assistance to 7,651 heads of households affected by the current floods in Kelantan and Terengganu would be channeled immediately. He said based on records, 2,995 household heads in Kelantan and 4,656 household heads in Terengganu were affected and had been placed in relief centres. Elaborating further, the Premier said apart from BWI, the government will also channel 2,500 ringgit for the purchase of basic home necessities. As for damage to electrical equipment, a voucher or rebate of 500 ringgit for purchases will be given, while for the repair of vehicles, a voucher of 1,000 ringgit will be provided. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said apart from that, there are 3 assistance categories for home damages, where the first category is for damages less than 5,000 ringgit, possibly those involving doors or windows, and they can make a cash claim for repair work. For damages between 5,000 to 15,000 ringgit, those affected would need to report to the district office and the repair works will be implemented by the Ministry of Rural Development or KPLB. For cases such as houses being washed away or completely destroyed, the government will build new houses for the flood victims and the construction will also be carried out by KPLB. He said the government would also donate 10,000 ringgit to the families of flood victims who died this time. Now, the 2021 Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia or SPM candidates who were tested positive for COVID-19 and currently undergoing quarantine will be sitting for the examination at the second session or in the second session in April. Now, Senior Minister of Education, Datuk Dr. Razijidin, said the candidates only had to inform their schools on the matter in writing with the relevant supporting documents and a copy of their MySejahtera status.
Sekiranya murid ini didapati positif, maka mereka perlu maklumkan kepada pihak sekolah. Yang maknanya mereka kena buat dalam surat deklarasi itu menulis sama ada bahawa mereka positif dan ataupun mereka maklumkan kepada pengetua. Pengetua akan sahkan, ya, kalau dikata dia maklumkan kepada pihak sekolah, pengetua akan sahkan sama ada benar murid itu positif ataupun ditunjukkan bukti daripada MySejahtera.
A total of 407,097 students are sitting for the 2021 SPM examination at 3,000 examination centres nationwide. Meanwhile, he said although 147 secondary schools in Johor will be used as polling centres for the Johor state election, he assured that this would not disrupt the examination process. He said that preferably the ministry did not want schools to be used as polling centres, but due to space constraints, the Election Commission or EC and the ministry discussed the matter and decided that 147 schools under the MOE had to be made polling centres. Effective immediately, Terima or political talks, lectures and campaign activities for the Johor polls can now be held up to midnight. The Election Commission or EC in a statement released yesterday said this followed the amendment of the Standard Operating Procedures or SOPs approved by the Ministry of Health and National Security Council. Apart from the extension of campaign time, the EC also allowed physical campaign activities to be organised at or in the compound of party headquarters and operation rooms. However, the number of attendees, including the organisers, speakers and participants, must not exceed 100 or 50% of the space capacity. Now, such activities are also not allowed to be held in public places. The statement also said the EC hopes that all parties will adhere to the rules and regulations, as well as the election campaign ethics and COVID-19 prevention guidelines to ensure smooth running of the election process and maintain public order. Prior to this, the EC announced that such talks and lectures for the polls can only be held up to 10 p.m. Perikatan Nasional PN will focus on expediting the economic recovery of Johor if it wins the state election on the 12th of March. Its chairman, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, said Johor is among the states most affected by the spread of COVID-19 in Malaysia, especially by the closure of the Malaysia-Singapore borders. Commenting further on the matter, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said, as such, in the next few years, efforts must be made more diligently and vigorously for the state of Johor to rise and bounce back stronger, not only like in 2019, but more than that. On the reopening of Malaysia-Singapore borders, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said it was also recommended by the National Recovery Council, or NRC, which he chairs. He said the NRC has repeatedly recommended the reopening of the borders, as the longer people wait to reopen the borders, the longer the people of Johor cannot run their business. He also said most of the pledges made by PN in his manifesto could be achieved in just one term, but few others would take longer to achieve. The PN manifesto, themed Demi Bangsa Johor, was based on 8 key thrusts, 24 strategies and 145 approaches. The 8 key thrusts are integrity and corruption-free leadership, economic stability, priority in addressing the rising cost of living, concern for the people, social well-being, infrastructure efficiency, boosting the tourism sector, and environmental sustainability. A total of 14,810,832 individuals, or 62.9% of the adult population in Malaysia, have received the COVID-19 booster dose as of yesterday. Now, based on the COVID Now website, a total of 22,951,398 individuals, or 97.5% of the adult population, have completed the vaccination, while 23,231,225 individuals, or 98.7%, have received at least one dose of the vaccine. For children aged between 5 and 11 years, a total of 929,733 individuals, or 26.2% of the population in the country, have received the first dose of the vaccine under the National COVID-19 Immunisation Programme for Children, or PICKIDS, as of yesterday. As for adolescents aged between 12 and 17, a total of 2,802,265 of them, or 90.1% of the population, have completed the COVID-19 vaccination, while 2,898,437, or 93.2%, have received at least one dose of the vaccine. Yesterday, a total of 97,534 doses of the vaccine were dispensed, with 26,923 as first dose, 1,389 as second dose, and 69,222 as booster dose, bringing the cumulative number of vaccine doses administered under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program, or PICK, to 67,416,313.
Why do we tell you stories?
Relevant,
New,
efficient,
accurate.
reliable. We bring you extraordinary stories from around the world, from politicians, bankers, and even your favorite celebrities. This and many more on RTM's English News.
To be certain on whether certain information are true or false, follow these tips. Accuracy. Is the news source a credible person or research? Authority. Identify the author of the news and ensure that they are experts in the field or whatever is being written about. Currency. Check the publication date. It may be an old article that was resurfaced for publicity and traction. Coverage. If the news is too short and not specific, it is advisable that you ignore it. Objective. Evaluate the possible purposes of a publication. If it serves no benefit or instead damaging and may result in chaos, it is better to avoid sharing. Tidak pasti, jangan kongsi.
And that's it from us this afternoon. In our top story, Bantuan Wang Ehsan or BWI assistance to be channeled immediately. News at 10 comes on this evening on My Free Views Berita RTM News channel. I'm Jessica Lee. Thank you for watching.